I like the new side.
This meeting please come to order. Everyone please rise and please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We've done a slight change of the original agenda so that we can move things a little quicker and get some other things done. But first things first is there a motion from the board to approve or amend the meeting agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. We have the agenda, let's work on it. Our first item is, I'm going to turn this thing over to, can I do that directly or you need some time?
You can do it, Joe.
Okay, turn this over to Jeremy Hicks for what we call the mock car crash report.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate being put at the beginning of the agenda. I have another meeting to go to, so I understand. I appreciate you yielding to the presentation. It's not presentation, might be the wrong word. It's more of appreciation that I came to share with you today. As you know, we had a mock car wreck that we did. We've been classifying this as a mock car wreck, but it was so much more than a mock car wreck. It was a program. It was a national program called Every 32 Minutes. Aiden and Mackenzie were instrumental in getting this program off the ground, and we had a massive amount of participation. I know Mr. Campbell, you were there, and a couple of other school board members were kind of in and out throughout the day and heard what was going on. But more so for the audience and kind of what we did is, this started about 6 months ago. We had to get 13 participants. We had to get parents involved. We had to get law enforcement, fire department, administrators, students, everybody involved in this program to get it off the ground. The mock car wreck was 16 minutes. That was a very small portion of what we did. This went all day long. We effectively dismissed 13 students throughout the day through scenarios that involved impaired driving. Their obituaries were read over the intercom system in the high school every 32 minutes by a friend, a family member. The mock car wreck, we had a mom read the obituary, and we kept the students overnight, which was something new. We had permission from all their parents, so we didn't like see some people go, wait a minute, where did the students go? No, we took them. I think probably the hardest part of that is we took all their cell phones away from them for 24 hours. So I don't think that made a pretty big impactful statement because they weren't able to communicate. So the people in the school really thought they were gone. You know, they weren't able to talk about these different experiences. We took them to a local business in town that was able to house them overnight. We provided death notification to one of the students that their parents signed up for this. Mason County Sheriff's Office Corporal Rip went to their house and I notified them that their daughter had passed away and had them collect a couple items, ask questions like, do you want your daughter cremated or do you want her buried? Those were pretty impactful to the mom, which the next day at the assembly became very impactful to the school. Not thinking of those situations and how the decisions that you make can affect more than one person's life. So just a lot of things went into this. I do have to hand it to the school board for allowing this to happen. I understand that you guys make decisions every single day on how and what happens within the school district. You empower your administrators to make these decisions also, but without you, this program would not have happened. And so many times this program does not happen because people are fearful of, well, it might be too much. We don't have time for that. We don't want to disturb the students. These are all the different excuses that schools have heard throughout the years. Principal Collins came from a school district that had a variation of this. He was on board. Mr. Smithers, Mr. Swafford jumped on board. I cannot say enough about Aiden and Mackenzie. If they were not here, in fact, I'm gonna bring them back in a couple years when we do this again, because I need them to run this program again. They interviewed the students, they selected the students, and these weren't all from one demographic group. This is from, we had soccer players with drama members, with football people. I mean, these were different, these students didn't know each other more than passing themselves in the hallway until this event happened. So this was pretty phenomenal. Couple statistics I have. We have a video, I'm not going to show it, it's about an 8-minute video. I'm sure you as a school board have seen it. I was hoping to debut it here. It got leaked. It probably came from the ASB, which they helped design this video, and rightfully so, they should be very proud of this video. It's on YouTube. Again, it was cleared to be placed there. It wasn't, you know, we didn't just throw it on there, and the students helped develop this video. Day one, 189 views. Today, 1,500 views of this video. It is all over. People are commenting about this video from different school districts. I wish we could have this. I have parents from Shelton School District calling me mad because I didn't invite them to North Mason to watch this. Now, I don't know where they fall, they know where I fall in this food chain, but inviting them to a different school district has nothing to do with me. But they heard that we did this program. Susan Bradbury from Grays Harbor, which she'll be getting a letter from our fire commission, shared with the other fire commission on her work. She donated her time. She's the leader of Target Zero in Grays, Mason, and Thurston County. She was here 10 days throughout the 6 months. Full days, giving her time to this. She spent the night. She was the female chaperone for the girls that were there. I came in the next morning, all the girls that were involved were in her car going home with her. Said, you guys need to go back to school. You can't take Susan home. She's not your new mom. So they fell in love with her. The guys had Mr. Shock as a chaperone, which again came out, was there. It was a great program. We had 11 different agencies, 20 plus EMS responders that were on site during the mock car wreck. We also had about 5 or 6 that stayed throughout the day. We had 15 students plus parents plus other participants and support personnel from the school. We kind of did a quick tally. Susan believes it's more than this, but from what I figured, it was about $11,400 program to bring this to North Mason. This did not cost anybody a dime. Everybody that was involved donated their time, all the agencies donated their time. Airlift, which that's not really even in part of this number. I'm sure that would change this number pretty drastically to bring their helicopter in land, which was pretty phenomenal. I've never seen it land on the football field before.
That was cool.
Which was pretty impressive. So with all that being said, again, I want to commend the administrators, yourselves as the school board, allowing this program to happen. Our intent, or my intent, is why I'm still with North Mason, is to bring this back every couple of years, at least every other year, and then supplement with a texting and driving Washington State Patrol function. They have a couple cars that they bring and display, more of a static display. So those are things that will be coming to you. And again, I really appreciate your guys' support in this. It wouldn't have happened without you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments?
I really appreciate your initiative in getting this going. I know that had to be a lot of work. And I hope it impacts our students, even if only saves one life.
Absolutely.
It was worth it. So where do we find it on YouTube? What do
NMHS mock crash, or just mock crash.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to put in North Mason mock car wreck, or North Mason every 32 minutes. It's in there under a couple different words. I could forward a link. Actually, Aiden, you could probably forward a link and get that out to the school board. I know that Brooke Quigley has a copy of that in her email that was sent out, so somehow that could all, however that works.
Again, thank you very much.
Thank you very
No problem.
much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, our next item is, in our change agenda, the SWAT Students Will Advance Technology.
Yes, I'd like to invite Mrs. Quam and her team to come forward and tell us about the exciting program that they have developed at North Mason High School.
Keyboard?
Keyboard.
We're lost without the tech, sorry. I'm Mrs. Quam, I'm from the high school. I've done a lot of things at the high school. This is a new adventure for me. I'm the instructional technology coach. I got the job 2 weeks before school started. And Lisa Roberts and Dana came to me and said, hey, this would be a really good idea. They sent me this whole program, and it's from Barrington High School in Vermont. It's actually Connecticut. And it's modeled after their help desk. There are several help desks across the country. We have a brand new school, brand new technology. We have teachers that really needed help. We have staff and students that need help. And so I sat down after I got back from winter break and just all of a sudden I figured out how to make it work. I don't know, when I first got it, I was like, oh my God, I can't do this in the next try. But we did it, and these guys, I have 4 students. And it's, some days we don't get anything done but running down the halls to help teachers with surfaces, anything from loading their software to seeing why their boards aren't coming up. It could be a variety of things. Till somebody, the only thing we can't help them with is the password. So I'm going to let Devin, this is Devin Weeks and this is Adam Branwell. And I have 2 more SWAT members that weren't able to make it, Isaac Johnson and Donovan Rogers. They're all this is a very collaborative, problem-solving classroom, which also is a very good model for the high school, because that, I think, is the direction that we want to take. So I'm going to turn it over to them and let them do their thing.
Okay, so this is our website. It's kind of like just the master resource for students and teachers, as well as where we put our app reviews. So whenever we find a program that we think is good for teachers or students, we put it on our website, and we allow them to look at our programs that we've made reviews on and use them in the classroom. For example, like Study Blue. And then we explain to them what these programs are and how they can use them in their classrooms.
That's a little fast.
Sorry.
That's okay.
We've been working on pacing. It's been
I'm going to go to the website.
We also have teacher resources and student resources. This is where they can find very informative links to stuff they might use in their classroom. Like which one?
Pick one.
Sway's the way. Sway's the way. You the original Sway. Explain Sway.
Was it? What, I can explain it a little bit.
So Sway is basically like the new PowerPoint in a way, and I'm making everything rhyme tonight. I wasn't unfortunately the one that did the tutorial on it, so I don't know a lot about it, but as far as I knew, like I said, it's the new PowerPoint in a way. It's very creative. You can do many things on it, like it says here, for class materials, presentations, and projects, lots of things. But I wanted to point it out here. On our About Us page, we have what our class is, basically a description of what we do, how we can help you, and we have a bunch of contact information here, and our mission and vision statement. And so, as you can see here on our mission, we provide a useful solution to those who have problems using technology. That's been our job ever since we started this trimester, and it has not stopped since. We do keep all technology in school up to date, and we do tutorials on apps that we look at. Recently, I had just done Edmodo. I was told that it was something that the school was considering about using, so I did a tutorial on it recently. And we also inform students and staffs about our tutorials and what we do. And our vision. We want to inspire, educate, and empower staff, students, and the North Mason community in educational technology. We think it's a very important thing that in the community and also in the school. So, and not just the high school, but also the middle schools and elementaries to be further out. So,
So, as you can see here, Isaac wasn't able to make it, but this is his about his page, and he's got a little kind of description about who he is and why he joined the class and what he's going to be doing on from then. So, and he is only a freshman. So, Donovan couldn't be here tonight, like Ms. Quam said too, but here's a little description. He transferred from Kingston, and he is a senior, but he has been enjoying the class. I noticed that with him. And
He's our software dude.
yeah,
He really
yeah,
is.
he knows more about the applications, how it runs, and a few of us here in this group know about the hardware with the computer and some parts of the applications as well. And here I am, and a little description about myself, and so.
I joined SWAT this year because I enjoy helping people, and I also like when I make something that someone else enjoys it. That's just about it. That's all the reason I joined SWAT.
Yeah, and I joined SWAT because it's always been in me to help people, and I've also had a fascination with technology, so I went kind of hand in hand.
So we're kind of running it as a business. I'm just going to interject in here. So the mission and vision statement, that was probably the first thing we did. I told them we were a business. We had to learn about customer service, how to answer the phone, how to relate to sometimes teachers that may be frustrated or because things aren't working right, and to handle things with grace and composure when we're in there. So that's all been a part of it. So they're learning how to relate, and this is like a real business scenario for them. And I think it's been really good. What's been fun for me is watching them do their video tutorials and trying to get them, they're tech guys, so they're kind of dry, and trying to get them to put a little bit of humor in there. Maybe, I know that Adam is really into, well, they all are, most of them are into gaming, but doing some graphics, maybe putting some music in, trying to make it a little more entertaining and keep it short. Nobody wants to watch an hour video on your application. Keep it short. If they want to know more, we'll come in and talk to them one-on-one.
Here is also our video tutorials. We have a YouTube page. Here's just a few of them. We got like Headmeta, like he said. We got S'more, Geogra, Schoolology. We do part 1. However, we can do this one and make it a little bit more funny. As she said, I'm pretty dry.
It has great graphics going in.
Great content. The graphics just a little too much
Also,
for
in
time.
SWAT, we have individual learning projects. One day a week, we devote our time to learning a certain thing that we all want to learn. Like I want to learn C++, which is a coding program, and then if I finish it, I can get certified for like Microsoft. And that's kind of like a running goal between all of us, is we want to get certified in something. And that can go on our resume at the end of the year. And it'll be very helpful when we go for job searching, stuff like that. Think about anything else?
I don't mean this in nasty way, this is kind of like the Geek Squad.
Yeah,
We are.
yeah, we're kind of like the kids.
We wanted to use that, but that's already taken.
I know it's already taken, but
We
it's
couldn't do
Yeah.
Genius Bar either, that's also patented. So
something, us low-tech people, please understand that one.
I noticed in your video that you have, if you need something after hours, you have an email address there.
we have an email
Yeah, we all
address.
email on her.
We have Twitter, we have Twitter feed. We're
With
trying
a
to.
direct phone number.
That's been a business card because we're really
Yeah, 2 phone numbers.
This totally speaks to what the business world has been asking for from the Board of Education forever. To give us kids that are prepared to do something. Yeah, this is an awesome program. So there's only 4 kids.
There's only
Yeah, there's only 4 of us this year.
It will explode.
It was all, well, it's been difficult too because it was the last try. So a lot of kids, their schedules were already filled.
Right.
So it was really, really hard recruiting kids. And I was laid it open for most of the day except for 5th when I had yearbook. So, and then some kids got in and just were like, this is a lot of work. And it is a lot of work because you're constantly researching and exploring. Today we learned about fractals, which I had never learned about. But it was something that one of my kids had researched and he wanted to show us. So we brought it up and I learned something today that I didn't know about.
Wow.
So,
Well, I have to say, I'm so proud of you guys for doing this, and so pround of Ms. Kwong.
Mhm.
Stephanie. Teaching kids to go out there and maybe if they're dry, but maybe, but putting a little bit of flair into it, but teaching that customer service side, that's one of the biggest things. Like, you can get out there and know a whole bunch of stuff, but if you don't have that good customer service, and sometimes that kind of cuts you there. So that's really cool. I'm really proud of all of you guys.
And we're looking for all types of kids. That's the most important thing with this class. I would love some drama students that could go in and like present things with a little flair. Athletes, I don't care. And I'm really going after girls. I've really been, put some ads up in the Commons. Microsoft has been really big on promoting that. And as you may know, we are mostly a Microsoft 365 school. So a lot of what we have in our drop-down menus right now is geared towards that. Really pushing the Microsoft 365. It's an awesome product.
Well, the shipyard is always hiring IT people, and they constantly, and they pay a lot of good money, and it's a good atmosphere.
So, and I think to add to that, I'm so proud of the program that Ms. Plum and the students have put together, because when we work with the shipyard and the other folks in the STEM network in our region, what we hear is we can teach people the stuff we want them to know, but we can't teach them those soft skills. So I think it's really great for our students that they're building both their technological skills and their how to research and how to find new knowledge, and those work skills that make them a really positive, viable candidate for a position.
Well, I think you guys could get hired tomorrow.
Oh, really?
I mean, look at you. You're all dressed up. You look like, I mean, you know it, and you can relay it to people. Yeah.
They both speak well.
Don't you think there ought to be some kind of board retreat with these guys?
Have you explained your glasses yet?
We figured they were Google glasses and you're actually reading.
Oh, that's awesome. You should see the other guy.
Anyway, this is just an awesome program, and I commend you for getting this off the ground. I believe you're probably going to have quite a few kids sign up for next year.
I hope so. I hope so. Eventually, there should be a link to the website. There's not yet, but we're hoping to get it up on the North Mason High School, well, on the district website with an easy link so that elementary teachers, middle school teachers, whomever can link to it and take a look at what we're doing.
I hope that the students understand that this is free training, pre-training. That, I mean, that costs so much once you get out there. I mean, once I even got to the shipyard, wanted to learn a little bit, it was like $500 a class, it's huge. So that's why I'm so excited about it.
Well, I'm really hoping they can get credit too for their certification. That's something that we've been working on through OC maybe eventually down the road. I think one of the things that I see is because we're on a trimester schedule and we're modeled after a semester schedule, it's a short amount of time. I can't even emphasize this enough. There are some days when they look at me and they go, well, we didn't get our app research done. And I'm like, you know what, I'm pushing the date out because we've been out troubleshooting wherever and running in, and there's only 4 of us. And that's only, one period, we only have 1. So if he goes out, it's just me. And lots of times we go together because we're not sure what we're going to find, so.
Are you going to offer it every trimester next year, or is it just?
Yes, because right now it's an elective. I'm hoping to make it a technological. It's heavily, it's not just, it really shouldn't be just an elective. It's a little bit more than that. But yeah, all 3 tries and hopefully open it up for all the periods. I don't know. I've really seen all
I'm
this.
excited about all the clubs and extra things, but I'm over here just like jumping in my chair. I'm really excited about this. So I hope it goes big. That's good.
Yeah,
Very much.
and I don't know if you guys all saw, but recently we were at the Mason County Journal. It was actually a pretty interesting experience. I've never been in the newspaper before, so but it was quite interesting. I think Brianna was her name, and she was very nice, and she asked all 4 of us very interesting questions, and they went pretty well. But as I stated in the newspaper, we're basically the 2 guys in the garage that are boosting up the technology business.
There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
There you go.
So,
That could be your company name, 2 guys in the garage.
The garage.
Yeah.
That's good. That's awesome.
Anything else, board members? I agree with everything Laura said.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Really important.
Okay, then moving on to the next part of the agenda. Thank you very much. You know, public comments on the agenda items. Ms. Kwon, I'm going to assume, correct me if I'm wrong, that your intent to...
That, yeah, they told me to sign in, and I did.
Okay, great. And that was true for Jeremy Hicks as well. And Dr. LaPierre, you would like to say something at the end of the meeting? Great.
I forgot to sign in, I want to say something again.
All right, I will put you on there. At the end of the meeting, or is there?
And
End of the meeting, okay. Thank you. Okay, next is board member comments. Let's see. Well, John, if you would start with board member comments.
Well, busy time. I went to we had a joint school board meeting some time back, and I was able to go to that with Leanne. I think you were there, and Art, and Anna.
Was it?
And it was really informative to see what other districts are doing and to get in link with them. This last Saturday, I went to a project citizen competition at the state capitol, and for half a day, and that was always informative to see what seventh graders can do. And I saw some seventh graders from Evergreen and from Renton that would just really surprise you by their abilities. I did everything I could to slow them down. They managed to return everything I threw so to do it. So I also was at the car crash, and Jeremy has covered that pretty well. I was impressed. I went both days, and I think this is really designed to get. You should have heard the mother who gave the obituary, you know, for her child the next day. This was more than an exercise. This was an existential experience. People went through it. And I watched the young man that was in charge. I mean, here you are, there's one student lying on the hood of a wrecked car. There's another one that is injured in the back seat of the other car. And the fire people had to take their, what they call the can opener, to literally open up the car, you know, to get the person out. And the helicopter coming down, you know, wasn't a bad deal either. But the gentleman, the young man that was the drunk driver, I wish you could have seen him. He really got into his role. I mean, he did the, you know, the step. You could hear the police officers, you know, eerily polite. You know, he goes through all this stuff, and then he did his sway business. There was a look on his face as though the impact of what he'd just done was coming home to him. And then he was taken away to jail. That was really something. And I have to say, our colleague Aiden here, I'm the guy, just so cool after it's all over. Somebody's got, I guess it was you, our filming guy. He's just up there with complete plum, giving, you know, like he's accustomed to being interviewed by the press. So I was very impressed with our people. I went to the Senior Center class. Mo Manchu, who used to have the restaurant. Wonderful senior class up there, and I think there are many opportunities for linkage between the seniors and various things we're doing here that I hope will happen in the future.
Thank you, John. I'll just be real brief. I also went to the joint board meeting and learned some things. I had a chance to make some comments, and I'm glad I went. Then also, I attended with Laura the audit exit conference, and that was also informative and worth going to. I'm glad I did that. I've always felt, all the years that I've been a board member, is that the state auditors work for us. Even though sometimes what results they give you, you really hate them, but they work for us, and I appreciate that they do that for us. Finally, also a scholarship night last week, which most of us went to. And that's always a rewarding time for me, since I'm involved in several different scholarship organizations as well as, of course, the school board. So that's kind of my summary.
Well, other than the scholarship night, which was fabulous, I just love giving away money. And then the audit exit conference, I've just been kind of floating around in the schools and watching kids play baseball on the weekends. And that's where most of our parents are, just down there on the fields, but it was good. I think we're winding down here pretty well.
Me? Okay. Well, I've been working hard as the new, finally finalized port director for Port of Duato. So that's been filling up a lot of my time. I've got to work a little bit with the local resource center, which is going to be part of my article. Some of that will go in there. And I've got to go here recently, just a couple days ago, the DNR, and doing the target shooting. They're talking to the community about the target shooting that they want to put into the Topeka Forest. Saw her there. And I was really proud of them for coming and working with the community like that, because I think it could have turned into something a lot different if they would have just did, just did what they were going to do without talking to people and getting their input. And most people, it kind of was a consensus. It was everybody was kind of, if they weren't yay or nay, they were okay. And people were on both sides too. You had people that were about the noise and safety, but you had people that were out there. It's like, I just want to shoot, So I was on both sides, and I'm for the port area, the Topeka area, but also for the safety of our kids. And there was a guy there talking about students and people of the high school age and even junior high of learning how to shoot and where he can take them. So I thought that was really cool. And then I think that was it. And I just got new hearing aids, so now I can hear everybody when they talk. And they even Bluetooth my phone into it. And I can turn things up and down. I can talk to things and do Bluetooth my MP3 player into it. It's pretty neat. Yeah. So it's right here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And board member Griffey is not here, so we'll run to student public comments.
It's been pretty busy. I've been ASB in the leadership classroom. I've been going nonstop with all the leadership conferences, like the service conference and V-Day, which I didn't go to either of them, but not by choice. The reason I wasn't at the last meeting was the athletic medicine competition, and our athletic medicine teacher took us all the way to Tri-Cities, and 2 of our students placed in the top 10 for the whole state for athletic medicine.
Wow.
Braden Garland, he was number 8 for the general athletic medicine test, and I don't remember. Marissa Covarrubias, she placed, but I don't remember what, and it was for anatomy and physiology. So that was really cool, even though I didn't place, it was still really good experience. I definitely learned what I could do better next time. I did the CPR practical, so that was fun. And then the mock car crash was probably one of the greatest experiences of my high school career so far. So I'm kind of bummed that freshman year wasn't as impactful as this year, and so I won't be able to do it again. But Kenzie will her senior year, and that'll be good. That's all I got.
So yeah, the mock car crash went really good. It was a great experience. Like Aiden said, probably one of the best in my high school career so far. I feel like it really impacted the student body. After I got my phone back, I had messages from random kids that I don't even talk to about how much it's impacted them, and my friends, long messages about how this is crazy. And after our assembly and we came back to life or whatever, random students hugging us, telling us how much it impacted them. There was people crying. It was great.
Thank you. Okay. Moving right along. agenda. At this time, entertain a motion from the board regarding the consent agenda. And I want to remind board members that this process is our chance to get questions answered. If we have some that we haven't had answered earlier already regarding any of the items on the consent agenda. So I'm open for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the consent agenda as given.
Okay. Is there any discussion? And again, as a reminder, this is the chance that we have to bring up questions, comments, ask regarding individual items before we have to vote on the motion. And so I have a comment, since no one else is coming up with anything. I want to say on the personnel report, which is part of the agenda, I'm very, very pleased to see that, although I should, before I say that, you know what I'm going to say. I'm always pleased about anybody that we hire. I'm excited for them. And I'm sad when I see people resign and that sort of thing. In this case, it's a little special. Well, everybody's special. That we're going to get Phil Pugh back as a football coach for the next 2 years. It's incredibly exciting because I know from personal experience, although some of the audience knows even better from personal experience, the kind of coach he is. I don't worry about our win-loss record. I don't worry about what kind of outcomes our kids get here. Phil Pugh has always done that right. So I just wanted to say I'm real excited about that. I don't know how you pulled that off, but wow. But anyway, other questions, comments regarding items in the consent agenda? Shall I take a minute for you to review over?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Is it okay? John?
Yeah.
Okay. I really have none others, just except wanted to bring up also the policy review. Wanted to appreciate Denise for your description of how that worked for us. So thank you, but I don't have any questions about the policies. I'm ready to understand what's going on.
Yeah, I just comment on that for those of you in the audience. This is you have our agenda, you see that there's a whole line of policies there. These are things I understand that our professional board association, WASDA, has made various changes on these, and largely these are pro forma, and that's why we're not discussing them in any great detail.
I would like to point out one, the communication manager. Oh, that's next one. I'll get some forward. Thank you for the next one.
Proactive.
Yes.
Okay, so hearing no other questions, comments, then we have a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda as it is.
I do have a quick question that
Yes.
I probably could have came after, but I think the annex for the surplus is on there. How does somebody get that after it's surplus?
The stuff in there.
Yeah.
So once we vote to approve the surplus, we're approving the building as well as the stuff, because when we make the building used for just our offices, it's not kid educational purposes anymore. Then we have a time frame, this is just a week, that we have to make it open to just within our district for other use in other buildings.
Okay.
And we will publish an announcement about the surplus, and then other districts and government agencies have the next 2-week period, week to 2-week period. And then after that, we will, just like we did last summer with the high school, make sure we make an announcement that it'll be basically like a big garage sale. After those folks are done, folks in the community have an option to come up and offer to buy what else is
Is
there.
government, like state government, like courts?
Yes. In the second section, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be good.
So where would they see that posting?
That will be, we send that to the newspapers where they have those announcements of, the announcement section of all the legal postings that they have.
Now, is it going to be in the Bremerton Sun as well as?
Both,
Okay.
Bremerton Sun and the Mason County Journal.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
His son. Well, okay, well, it was the Bremerton son when I was little.
Yeah. Paul's been to send me. So, yeah,
Yeah.
awesome, okay.
Any other questions, comments? Then hearing none, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda as it exists, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are done with the consent agenda. So now we can move to the Board of Health and Linkage Superintendent's update.
Okay, so the first thing I have is on Monday, we had the bid opening for the District Administration Building Tenant Improvement Project, which is the annex to turn that into our new district offices and training area and everything. We had 11 bidders register. We had 6, I think, show up with a bid. We have a recommendation. Our recommendation is to accept a base bid and 2 alternatives. The base bid is $1,630,000. The alternate bids, bid A2, is for replacing the roof, and that is really important because the roof is nearing the end of its life cycle, and that would give us another 30 years on that building without having to worry about that. And then alternate bid A6 is replacing the toilet partitions in the bathrooms. So instead, we're redoing what are currently the student bathrooms, and those will be the public bathrooms in the district office. Instead of leaving the old partitions or taking them out, putting them back in, when we put in floors and toilets and everything, it would put in new partition walls as well. So those are the recommendations.
And that figure on the alternate bid for the toilet is 3,000.
3,000, yeah, that's all for that part.
Okay.
So my recommendation is that we accept this bid from the company is Bershauer Group, which happens to be the same company that is currently working for us on replacing Hawkins. So that's very exciting. That will help with their time frame. It's fortunate that they were the low bidder, but that will help with their time frame because some of the work that they would have to come in and set up to do, they're already set up for. So as they finish with Hawkins and move into the parking lot area, they can just have their teams also be working on our other work at the annex.
So this is an action item, so I entertain a motion from board member regarding approving or not the Berkshire Group for this bid.
And we approve the Berkshire Group and accept their base bid with the 2 alternates.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
I have a quick question.
go for it.
Right in front of the new Hawkins high school there, they're doing a lot of work. Are they expanding the front? Is it going to be,
That's the office.
oh, okay, is there going to be more of an overhang there? Or is it just,
No, there won't be an overhang, but there will be, once they get the building finished and on north, south, east, and west is not this end of the building.
oh, okay,
They're adding a wing,
oh, okay.
and that, the slab's all poured, the steel is going in, and they'll be finishing up those walls probably next week. But there will be a drive-in to drop kids off for parents that is kind of where those portables used to be. That's why all the plants and everything got torn out of there.
Is there, is it covered a little bit there? Or is it just the flat? I'm talking about the bountiful baskets up here. We
Yeah.
usually use right there in that backside, and it's really small. Not that I'm like,
No.
you should do it because of bountiful baskets, but I'm always wondering.
We're already done accepting that bid.
Yeah. No, and of course you shouldn't have, that should never be part of it. It's just, of course, I had to ask it.
No.
It was some of the community had come and they're like, what are they doing over there? And are they gonna have an overhang? I'm like, that's a really good question I'm gonna ask.
No, it's not.
Yeah, okay.
It'll be very similar in many ways to the look of the outside of the high school building, but the colors are a little bit different. So one of the things that we have all 3 of the boards out, we'll bring them up to the next meeting. You will see that there are relationships between the colors in all 4 buildings, between Taylor and North Mason High School and Hawkins. And the annex, but none of them have exactly the same colors on the outside or the inside, so each is unique and different, but it goes together like a neighborhood does. So
That's nice. I forgot if we, and that I know that we've talked a little about this, but this building right here, the gymnasium, that's not going away, right?
No, we're maintaining the
That's what-
Hopkinton Gymnasium.
Some people have asked me that too, and I'm like, no, I don't think we are, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm gonna ask that too. They'll do that.
Okay, so we've already voted.
Okay. The next thing up is a budget status update report, so I'll let Kathy Severs give that to you.
Thank you. So I've provided you with the fiscal report and the budget status report, and I'll just briefly go over just a few items. I'll just mention that the expenditures are down a little bit from budget this month, and revenues are down a little bit from budget, but they fluctuate. They're nothing abnormal. Our fund balance is very high. If you've noticed, we got our tax collections, so it makes our fund balance go up pretty high in our general fund. And all of our other funds are right on target. Our capital projects fund is dwindling a little bit as we're spending the money for our projects, and then it'll go up a little bit as some of the state match comes in. And then I did want to mention that I just noticed that I made a mistake on here. I'm a little mortified, but if you notice back on the enrollment, on the very last page, the enrollment page, I left out May, and I talked all about May. So I wanted to mention, and I'll get this updated, I have it updated in all of my items, but the May numbers, our actual May enrollment numbers, our FTE came in at 2,083.38. So we're down about 3 FTE from last month, which is refreshing because the month before we dropped a lot with a lot of graduations. But we're still above average, or we get funded on an annual average. It's all, it's not each month our fluctuation goes up and down. It's just annualized throughout the year, and we're still up quite a bit from our budget. So we're doing real well. And that's all I have for that. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't know. I'm glad that our enrollment has.
Yeah. As far as the rest of the year, we are, as you know, in the middle of state assessment season, and so this is the second year of the SBAC assessment. Last year, like many people in the state, we had a lot of frustrations because they rolled out a system that wasn't quite ready for prime time and required us all to use it. Things are going much better for kids this year and for staff. Last year, one of the big frustrations, I think you'll recall, was getting our results back. Part of the idea behind going to a completely online system is that we would have results immediately. We'd be able to use them for planning purposes to support kids learning and making sure they're in the right classes and everything. And last year that didn't occur. In fact, we didn't get results that showed us that some of our high school kids had taken the wrong test and weren't going to get credit until August, at which point they wouldn't have been, and if we had gotten the results when they told us we would 2 weeks later, it would have been a thrill, but we would have been able to let them go sit down and take the right test and still get results. So we're getting real time, some of the results real time, we're not getting final results, but we can tell now within an hour or two if Aiden's taken the test and finished it or not. We don't know what his score is yet, but we do know that he did the right test if he's testing. And then the kids' test results are coming back at 2 weeks at the outside, so that's very good. So we really are having numbers that we can use to support kids and support discussions between teachers and parents about what best to do for kids for the following year. So that's helpful. We did have an amazing scholarship night. I have to add on to that. I also have to share that it was shared that night, in case anyone doesn't know, and I think it's very exciting, that a community member has made a huge donation to the Scholarship Foundation, and so they are very well endowed to continue supporting kids going into the future. That's very, very exciting. We have about a dozen kids going to state in track this week and 2 kids in golf. So some very exciting things happen in there. We have and 2-year field trips at all of our schools and many exciting things happening for kids. So that is really good moving forward. We have had some conversations with WSDOT about their impact on our school and student safety, and I do have to say they've been very cooperative. We've had some concerns about the work and how the flaggers and different things have impacted student safety at Belfair, and they're being very responsive to our requests, and also to student safety at Beller when kids from high school or other schools are bussed in. They had placed all of their equipment on our drop-off place and made it very unsafe, but we were able to say, you got to change this, and they were very quick, the Conti, the contractor, to get that done. So that is a big plus. We do, I'm sure you all know that every year our seniors do a senior slowdown day. And last year, we talked about this in the fall, but we met with various people that are concerned, WSDOT, law enforcement, fire, ourselves, to come up with a plan, and we talked and we worked with the senior class, and on the day that they traditionally go, the day before the seniors are done, the seniors have a lot of things going on that day that aren't really any more academic end of the year things at that point in time. So the seniors only are going to have a shorter day that day so that they can do the traditional parade through town without impacting getting our elementary school kids home on time and that 3 o'clock backup that we're having at this time through Belfair. So I think it's really good partnership between our kids and the community.
Yes.
That's good to share.
What day is it this year? 14th.
Thank you.
I'd like to add something that, since you brought up something about the Scholarship Foundation and the donation, turn the table around. You also instituted at the scholarship night. Graduates of distinction event into that, and I thought that was actually
That was
really
excellent.
wonderful merging of proper kinds of programs there. It really worked well there to have the graduates of distinction presentation there at scholarships, both as inspiration to the kids getting scholarships and to the graduates being honored.
Thank you. I think that was really great too. Last year we instituted for the first year our graduates of distinction, and our goal was, for those of you who don't know, to honor people who were graduates of North Mason at least 10 years previously for their contributions to their community, the world, etc. This year's honorees were Sarah Evans, class of 1995. I can't off the top of my head remember the name of the conglomerate that she works for in Switzerland, but her mom was so proud when she nominated her, because Sarah was an average girl that struggled to get through school, and she enlisted in the Army right out of graduation, and she did 3 years, and then she went on to school and got degrees and got involved in this company that I believe does water testing and provides safe water systems around the world, and she lives with her family in Switzerland and volunteers in myriad ways with various organizations to help people. So she's a really wonderful example. Locally, we honored Dan Murphy and Dr. Brian Peterson, both for their contributions to the community and the state of Washington as well. So I think it was very powerful, and we're excited to continue to do that. We want to get lots of nominees. So we also put the rules out on the table so people could take those home. In the past 2 years, we've been kind of strict and had a window for nominations, but we're probably going to expand that so people do it while they're remembering, and we don't have to try to remind them as it gets closer to next year's window.
I just want to add my amen to what Art said. I was there too, and I really thought that it was so smooth I didn't even notice, but I thought it worked extremely well. And I think it's very important for us to set examples of where people can go and where people do go from this school. There still is an attitude in our community, well, it's good enough for Belfair. No, it's not. And with the new high school, and I think with emphasizing the kind of success many of our people have had we can address that atmosphere.
I think we can make the rest of the world good enough for us.
Here, yeah.
Okay, so that's my,
No update?
oh wait, I do have a Feller update, I lost my notes there. We have been working to fulfill the things that the board has asked us to do at our last study session. I anticipate scheduling another study session soon to talk to you about what options I think are out there and what we can do to move forward for the community. We have been talking to some governmental agencies who are interested in acquiring ownership and would continue a partnership with us so that we could continue to grow educational opportunities on the site, but do what we're supposed to do, and someone else could do what they're supposed to do, as in running a park, while we can just focus on the education. So I'm excited to have some concrete things to talk about with you in the very near future. And as soon as we kind of get some things together beyond more than conversations and on paper, we'll schedule that meeting and be able to get your ideas and thoughts and direction to go forward.
Can you give us a very brief update on the dike?
Yes, thank you, Art. As you know, we have been looking into reviewing the engineering report we had regarding the dike. We contracted with Vector Engineering, who are relatively local out of the Olympia area, but totally, not connected to anybody, so totally free of any perceptions. And Vector expects to give us a report in the next couple of days of their review of our previous engineering report and what the recommendations they believe would be viable for any dike repairs. So that would also be part of that conversation that we would have.
Thank you. So let's move into the next item, community linkage planning and message of the month. June, May 30th, the June issue of the Leanna, you're the columnist.
Yes.
And do you have any questions, comments, or things that you can help with?
I don't. It should be, it'll be there before the 30th.
Okay, and in July, we have no article.
Didn't we decide to do something the evening? Oh, okay, sorry.
It did get some.
Sorry.
And in August, it would be Laura. Okay, next we move into policy review. And last month, we reviewed the ER11 district calendar thing, and we indicate a need to revise the policy regarding that. Is there anything further that anyone wants to bring up regarding that?
My conviction that no revision is necessary is been sustained over the last time.
Very good. Anyone else? Okay, I will move to the adjournment phase of this meeting, which is going to be a long one. First, the board of self-assessment of the meeting.
Okay, that would be me. And as far as the board meeting's behavior as satisfactory or not satisfactory, I gave us an overall satisfactory. The agenda was well planned, it focused on the real work of the board. The board followed its agenda, did not allow itself to get sidetracked. I believe we were all prepared for the meeting and had reviewed the agenda and its backup materials prior to that. The meeting proceeded without interruptions or distractions. Our deliberations and decision-making processes were public. Participation was balanced, all participated, no one dominated. Members listened attentively, avoiding side conversations, and work was conducted in an atmosphere of trust and openness. Meeting participants treated each other with respect and courtesy. And in terms of the governance principles review, the board actions occur at the policy level rather than the operational level. The board reviews policy about each topic before discussing that issue. In writing additional policies, which we did not, so I just put not applicable to that one. The board minimizes time spent monitoring past performance. The board routinely dedicates time to reviewing and improving its own process. The board clarifies priorities, values when considering potential outcomes, beneficiaries, and costs of outcomes. The board follows an annual calendar based on a plan for doing its work. The board chair helps the board efficiently conduct its meeting. The board spends most of its time deliberating issues, defining and clarifying its vision, and linking with its community as opposed to fixing things. The board supports the superintendent in any reasonable interpretation of its policies. So therefore, I gave us an overall assessment.
Thank you, Director Bode. Okay, announcements and comments from the board and the superintendent. Anybody?
I had a question. So, I saw the club, I didn't talk about it before, the club for the art club. I thought that was really cool, because I know we did another one, but it was for the arts, right? It was a little bit different, and this one's more like community holiday art and stuff like that. Can any of us go to either a class or a club just to see how they're doing it, or?
You can, just like any community member, we ask that you arrange it in advance.
Okay, very cool. That was all.
My only comment is the plays last night is Saturday night, the Sound of Music. So if anybody has not seen it, I would recommend that you take the time to go see it. We're going Saturday night. I haven't seen it yet, but everyone I've talked to said it's really fabulous. That's it.
Okay, anyone else? I have a comment back to Leanna. You can always come to the Builders Club.
Oh, okay, here we go. Builders Club.
It's
What
in
do
the
you
morning,
mean?
7:40 in the morning.
Holy cow,
Before
we're at,
school starts.
we're at here.
Room 308, Hawkins Middle School.
I have one too. Denise sent out to you a reminder of the WASDA conference registration. It's now available, and they have a new process, and we have to register as a group. So I gave you a paper copy of the early bird workshop information, transportation, the questions we have to answer. In case you needed to ask any questions about that, so we can get the
Did
information.
you email it?
Sitting next
Yeah,
to
I printed mine out and I forgot it at home.
I did mine.
Yeah, Laura, you did yours, so
I was
if
gonna bring
you
it.
haven't done it and you have any questions, we want to be sure to give you that opportunity to do it so we can get you registered and have rooms.
Any other comments, board members, superintendent, student members? Okay, now we get to go to announcements and comments from the public. We have two people that signed up that would like to speak, so I'll start with Dr. Lemire.
First off, we all ought to thank Ingrid Pugh for letting Phil come back to coach football again. There was a nice article in the Kitsap Sun, you're right, by Chuck Stark, was in this morning's sports section. And to reiterate what Art had said, many moons ago, we went through about a 14 or 15 game losing streak over 2 or 3 seasons. And since I'm doing the chains, I'm walking off the field with Phil, put my arm around his shoulder, and he's considerably shorter than I am. Said, kind of a character builder, huh? He said, it's easy to build character when you're winning. Now's when you find out if you can build character. The second thing was I talked to the guys at WASDOT last night, out in front of what used to be my office. And he said, we can expect paving in 2017.
Yeah.
That which kind of discouraged me a little bit. The third thing was Floyd and I have been back cutting grass on the trails. And we got somebody complained that we were cutting the grass on the dikes. And I told Joan and Mindy and I agreed. Everything that's growing on the dikes is an invasive species that would not survive if the dikes were removed. None of those species are saltwater tolerant. So anybody that's complaining about that doesn't know anything about Mother Nature and the ecology.
Thank you, Don. Then Joan Moore.
Yes, I want to tell you a neat program we're going to be doing this summer and through the fall. I've been working with Dana in regards to this, and we are going to be doing educational for 2 days a week through June the end of June, July, and August. And I have community members, and I have volunteers, and in fact, Ms. Kwon and her gang of geeks are on my list to contact. But we're going to have kids from school age to high school, and we're going to implement these programs. And they cover from STEM, arts, health and fitness, recreational, and I have some of the teachers from the elementary schools coming to help and volunteer, and everybody's coming in to volunteer their time so these kids can enjoy this Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I don't want to call it a camp, but it's just programming, and then when it goes through fall, we're hoping to do study programs, homework sessions, an area where the kids, high school kids, middle kids, can come and do their educational programs there and not worry about, you know, any extra curriculum coming in and bothering them. They can have people, we're going to get tutors to come in. So we're thinking outside the box to bring people into the Bel Air for educational purposes.
Great. Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else sitting in the audience that would like to have a couple moments to say anything? Hearing none.
I got one comment. We already passed by the board. We already passed by for board comments.
Well, we did. Would you like to have another?
All
right, I will grant you another opportunity.
Okay. There also was a chili cook-off that I attended at senior center. And while I regret that our superintendent did not win, she really made some righteous chili. It's the kind of chili that once you eat will not sit down. It's Holy Ghost chili. It's speaking in tongues chili. And it was a great pleasure, and I think that she was wrong.
Thank you, Director Campbell.
Well, we were the spicy divas. Hers was.
Now, wait, I have to say,
Hers was
Joan
spicy.
Moore's pizza chili was also very good, and she came in second. I mean, it was really
Who won?
something. We had-
Michael Wade, he never entered a food contest at all. It was his first time, and he won. And we had a student from North Mason won second place in the Fan Bakers. So it was good.
Was it chili bread?
It was chili and cornbread.
And cornbread,
There's two
okay. I
things,
thought
yeah.
since on that chili bread, I didn't get to go, but I had chili.
Some of us chilies were quite hot.
Who was
Nice.
the student? Do you know who the student was?
Dana, do you remember her name? I don't remember her name, but she did very well. It was very good.
I apologize, Joan, for not thinking of yours. It was exceptional.
Okay.
It was exceptionally good.
Okay, well, thank you. Last chance, anybody in the audience would like to say something? Okay, then our next board meeting date will be June 16th, right here, 6:30 p.m. And at this time, we are going to adjourn into executive session. Recess, sorry, yes, recess into executive session for approximately 30 minutes for the purpose of discussing the superintendent's evaluation. Action is possible, maybe even expected on this item following this executive session. So at this point, I will now recess this meeting.